We all love doing this, don't we? Sitting at the end of the year, picking our test team of the year, putting in little personal preferences, pouring through numbers. I've studied this like I studied a history exam, believe me. And some very interesting things came through. For the second year running, there is no standout second opening batsman in international cricket. Number 5, there's nobody at number 5 saying, come look at me, you have to pick me. And the fast bowling is so skewed. You've got 2 standout performers, and there wasn't third seamer who had a great year solo, individually in international cricket. So that's caused a few changes, it caused a few little repercussions. So here's the team that I have picked. There was one standout opener, and that was Dean Elgar of South Africa. Much like Craig Brathwaite, whom we picked last year. Dean Elgar had a magnificent year. He went and scored runs in England as well. So Dean Elgar comes in on the back of an average of 54.85 and 1,000 runs. Who do you pick as your second opener? Dimuth Karunaratne scored 1,000 runs as well. KL Rahul scored a few runs, but he's not the regular opener in the Indian side. And I've gone back as a personal preference and on pedigree to David Warner, who averaged 45 for the year. Not a breakout year for David Warner, but Warner's a better player than Karunaratne, and there wasn't another opener standing up and saying, you know what, Warner, I've had a better year than you. So my 2 openers are both left-handed, Dean Elgar and David Warner. Now at number 3. Big tussle. Do you go Cheteshwar Pujara? Do you go Kane Williamson? Pujara, Williamson. Williamson had a fantastic year. He averaged 60 plus. But for Pujara, it was a breakout year. He scored runs in difficult conditions as well. And so often he was carrying that Indian middle order along. Made over 1,000 runs. You cannot look beyond Cheteshwar Pujara for number 3. 1,140 runs, average of 67, 4 centuries, 5 half centuries. Pujara had to be in it. Then number 4. Easiest choice to make. Steve Smith has had a fantastic year. He just looks like he's going to be a test match batsman beyond his era, which is not something you can say about a lot of people. So Steve Smith goes in at 4. Now what do you do with number 5? As I said, there was no standout number 5. You have to pick Virat Kohli, right? Now you can point out the fact that he had only 46 runs in that series against Australia, that all these big runs that he scored against Sri Lanka in the home series and away all came in relatively easier situations. In Kolkata, he didn't score runs. There have been a lot of people telling me, look, you've got to look beyond Virat Kohli. You can't. Simply because when he came into bat against Sri Lanka, when he got those double hundreds, he looked like he was batting at a different level from anybody else. So I've got Virat Kohli at number 5 in my list. And even though he didn't play the Ashes, Ben Stokes has to be number 6, because nobody provides more balance to a side in international cricket today than Ben Stokes. So those are my top 6. Who do you pick as a wicket keeper? Niroshan Dickwella had a decent year. There's Quinton de Kock. But I saw Riddhiman Saha keep in Sri Lanka. And we actually sat down and said, should we give Man of the Match award to Saha for his keeping alone? His keeping was outstanding on those turning tracks. So if you've got such a good top 6, I did not look at the batting averages. I went with Saha at number 7. Now I've got to have 4 bowlers in my side. 1 spinner, 3 quicks, 2 spinners, 2 quicks. I've already got Stokes in the side, so I decided I want to have 2 spinners in my side, and I've gone with Ravindra Jadeja at number 8. Then 2 standout fast bowlers, absolutely. We often say about Jimmy Anderson that he only takes wickets in England. He took a bag full of wickets in England. But even in the Ashes, who is Joe Root looking at? He's looking at James Anderson. So Anderson comes in an average of 16.86, 4-5 wicket hauls, 51 wickets. Also a breakthrough year for Kagiso Rabada. There was no stain, Morkel was in and out, Philander was injured, and suddenly you saw Rabada just rising. That's what you look for in young players. When there is trouble around, when there's no options around, you rise to the occasion, and that's exactly what Kagiso Rabada did. Which left me to choose between Ravichandran Ashwin, whom I admire enormously and who I think India doesn't give enough credit to, and Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon, the quintessential hard-wicket Australian bowler. Ravichandran Ashwin, the quintessential Asian bowler. But Lyon took 60 wickets from 10 test matches. Ashwin had 56 from 11, but Lyon came to India and took wickets. So I'm going with Nathan Lyon as my lead off-spin bowler. There were some players you had to consider. I thought Shai Hope had a magnificent year. I thought he was really good in England, but the rest of the time he wasn't drawing attention to, as indeed it was with Chandimal. who had a really good 100 in India, but also a defining 100 in the UAE that allowed Sri Lanka to win the series. Chandimal at 5, but I thought Chandimal, Hope, Kohli, and so I went with Kohli. Shakib Al Hasan had a magnificent year. And if there was a seam bowling all-rounder available to bat at 8, you might have gone with Shakib and maybe someone like Mitchell Starc. But Starc just didn't play enough cricket. Starc, Hazelwood, Cummins, fantastic attack together, but they didn't have the numbers to sneak ahead of anybody else. So if Starc had played a lot, you could have had a Shakib-Starc combination instead of a Stokes-Jadeja combination. That was the only other option. So I think I'm very happy with my test side. I'm perfectly happy for you to punch holes into it and come up with your own, but I think this is a pretty decent side of 2017. So start with Dean Elgar and David Warner, Pujara and Steve Smith, Virat Kohli, Ben Stokes, Saha as the keeper, Jadeja as the tight left arm off spinner, and then Nathan Lyon, Kagiso Rabada and Jimmy Anderson.